Hey everybody, Braden Chase here, and I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about capacity. Now, I've done a lot of productivity over the years, but I've always just done it for myself, right? Because I've got to get stuff done. So about, almost 20 years ago now, maybe more, a long time ago, I sat down with an old friend and we were talking about life, we were talking about future, we were talking about a bunch of different options and how do we move forward in the world. And he told me this thing, this little phrase that sticks out until now. And he said, your responsibilities will be very much increased once you get married, once you have kids, once life moves on, right? So I was a teenager when he said this, and I was like, oh, very much increased. And for whatever reason, that stuck with me really hard. And I'm like, okay, I'd better learn how to deal with some serious responsibilities. So I sat down and I've been, since then, 22 years, I have been chasing productivity and what it is and how to deal with huge responsibilities. How do you navigate these issues? And it's been a big challenge for me, right? And I have had some pretty serious challenges over the years. Those of you who know, right, my oldest son is autistic, and my second oldest son has Graves' disease. There's several other health problems in the family. We have special diets going on. There's a lot of stress going on, a bunch of different things. And it's pretty complicated to be able to track and figure out everything that's going on. And as I learned through all of these experiences, every time I hit a wall or I hit a threshold or I hit a problem or some kind of issue that I needed to control or control myself in this situation, I had to increase my capacity. And that's the title here of this video is capacity. And how do I have capacity? How do I increase my capacity? Because that's what I've noticed most people run into, is they want to do things and they have dreams and they have hopes and they have plans. They want something to do and they're like, oh, how do I get it done? And they stop because they don't know. They don't know how to get it done. And they're like, oh, well, if I do this and this and this, or like right now, very common, right? At the beginning of the year, people go, oh, I'm going to do this and this and this, and here's my 18 different goals that I want to work on, and I'm going to rock the world, and 3 weeks later everything fails. Why? Because they have an incomplete or insufficient capacity to handle those goals, to handle those things that they're trying to work on. So I went back and forth with my wife on this for a little bit because I've always done my productivity and my capacity training and my planning and all of my things just for me, right? And my family, kind of controlling and planning and being in control of my life and my business. And I've never taught anybody these things because they're actually really hard to teach. But I've spent a lot of time with those books and books and books. I've got a whole bookshelf of things over there of different productivity specialists and experiences and business coaches and all of these people saying, do this and this and this. And I've kind of combed through all of those things and built my own system and built my own things to serve my own needs. And most people don't do that. And that's why most people kind of fail. So there's kind of two people in this world. You have the people who get under stress and they just fight with it. And they're like, oh, this is hard. And they kind of grunt and grin and bear it and push through. So that's one side. And then you have the people who are like, oh, this is stressful. And they kind of back off and go, how do I deal with this? I don't understand what's going on, right? And they kind of negotiate and massage it a little bit. I'm that type of person. I'm not the, football player who says, there's a challenge, blah, right? I don't do that. That's not my personality. I have to negotiate things and I have to process things and I need to understand the system so that I can arrive at a particular point. Now, in some ways that does kind of slow me down, but what I've noticed with most people is that it doesn't slow them down, it stops them. They try and they learn to do something like, oh, I want to start a business. I want to launch my sales funnel. I want to be a better writer. I want to send emails to my customers. I want to grow my business. And they're like, okay, go. Oh, that's too stressful. And then they stop because they're this kind of a person and they back off. A lot of the people that you see who are really, really successful are this kind of person where things go wrong and they just fight with it and they just get angry and they push and they damage their relationships. I was watching different videos of some of the other people in my area of marketing and things like that over the past couple of weeks, and I think I saw 4 or 5 divorces, and there's these terrible things. Everyone's trying to be positive, right? Because trying to be positive, life honestly is really pretty good, even when things go wrong. But it's part of it is this mentality of force, of something's wrong, I'm just going to push through it. And I can't do that. I mean, I've tried, it doesn't fit me, and I've damaged relationships because of that. So I stay over here. I stay in this area because this fits my personality and the way that I function. But this is the harder spot to be, because you have to understand what's going on. And how do you understand what's going on? And how do you process when a new stress hits you? How do you process and go, okay, deal with it, process, understand, comprehend, move forward without getting angry and fighting and pushing everyone around? How do you do this without causing problems? And so I started, again, back and forth with my wife for the past couple of weeks. I started with her and I said, okay, I'm going to do it. And I built a landing page. It's at Capacity is my course. And I haven't built it yet. It's actually in beta right now. So what I'm doing with this is I'm going to set up a beta masterclass on capacity and on increasing your capacity to deal with stress and to deal with novelty and to deal with new information and challenges that come at you. How do you purposefully, dynamically, and systematically handle ever-increasing input, right? Ever-increasing problems. How do you handle this consistently instead of, in these bursts of anger or force or whatever you want to deal with, or just falling apart? How do you actually handle these things? And that's what I've built, right? And what we're going to do in this course that I actually haven't built yet. I built the page to pull everybody in so we can talk about this, because it's such a big deal. I see so many people just failing all the time, not because they're not smart, not because they don't have good ideas. They're brilliant people, but they just keep running into these walls and going, I don't know what to do. So that's what I'm doing. I'm not dealing with the marketing per se in this course, although that will, of course, happen a lot. But what I'm talking mostly about is increasing your capacity, breaking through those thresholds of control. When everything goes out of control, how do you get it back? When you fall off of the bandwagon, how do you get back on? Like when things go wrong, how do you go, okay, capture, process, move forward as fast as you can think, right? How can you do those things? So that's what capacity is about. So the course itself, I'll put a link down underneath, and the course itself is actually live, so I will do it with you. We've got a members area that I've already built, and we'll all just kind of move over there once the cart closes, once everybody's signed up. It's on the 20th, yes, January 20th is when I'm closing the cart, and we'll start the next day. The course on that next day, and it's super, super cheap because, again, this is beta, right? So there's going to be a lot of conversation and negotiating, and I'm only doing 100 people, right? So this is not a huge take over the whole world kind of course. I'm not trying to grab everybody. I'm trying to help a tiny group of people break through their barriers and increase their capacity so that they can handle more stuff. That's my whole goal with this whole process. So I'll post a link underneath so you guys can see that and you can process it. It's not the most beautiful sales funnel and page that I've built in my life, but it was quick because I need to share this. I keep seeing so many people fail, and I just got to help with this. So if you're interested in that, again, the link's underneath. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment underneath and I can explain and I can talk about it. And I look forward to seeing you guys there. This is going to be life-changing for most of you. And I hope to see you, I hope to help you and to make a difference in your life. Thanks, guys. Bye.